is going on, everyone? You know, every single year I make a video where I give my predictions for the films that I feel like could potentially be nominated for Best Picture at the next Academy Awards. And guess what? It's that time of year again. Except the last two videos I made, I did those in August and September. Why am I doing it at the end of June so early? Because it's going to make it a lot more fun. We have no idea if any of these movies will actually end up being good. While making those last two videos of the films that I predicted to potentially get nominated for Best Picture, I had a good idea that about half of them would end up getting nominated for Best Picture, but this time I could be way off with my predictions. Will these films end up being great, or will they be garbage? We'll see. And of the films I'm predicting today to get nominated for the 2020 Oscars Best Picture Award, they are in no particular order. These are just films I went on the internet, saw, and said, yes, I feel like you'll get nominated. Alright, and let's start with the first film I have at the top of my notes. It's called Harriet. It's about Harriet Tubman and her struggle with slavery. It stars the girl from Widows, who I'm sure most of you have no clue who she is, but slavery movies, they tend to be very impactful. The Academy always loves them. Yes, there have been some that flop, but this time a film focusing on a very influential figure from the 1800s around slavery, I could see this movie being just like 12 Years a Slave in the Academy Awards' eyes. The Goldfinch is the next film I have on my list. It comes from the director of Brooklyn. This is his next film. Not gonna lie, this movie looks pretty boring from the trailer that dropped. I don't think I'll personally like it, but the Academy probably will. It stars Nicole Kidman and Ansel Elgort from Baby Driver, and it's about a boy whose mom died in a bombing, and a wealthy family takes him to be their own. This film screams 2020 Oscars. The Irishman is the next Martin Scorsese movie that will be debuting on Netflix very, very soon. It stars Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci, some of the most iconic actors from the 1980s and 90s. We love these guys. Seeing them all together in a movie is going to be great. Directed by Martin Scorsese, who is one of my favorite directors. Could this movie end up being just like The Departed, but with older men? Maybe, but I see this being a favorite for the Academy. 1917, directed by Sam Mendes, director of American Beauty and Skyfall, is a film about World War I, and that's all we know about it so far. It does say right now it comes out on Christmas. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Mark Strong, and Rob Stark, also known as Richard Madden. I think this movie could pan out to be one of the best films of the entire year. If it's rated R, yes, I want to see a rated R World War I movie. I can't even tell you the last big time war movie that was made about World War I. Wonder Woman does not count. I hope this one ends up being phenomenal. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood comes from the director of Can You Ever Forgive Me? It stars Tom Hanks, who plays Mr. Rogers, and it shows the relationship between Mr. Rogers and one of his good friends. Tom Hanks, one of my favorite actors, one of the best actors on the planet, has been that way for 20 plus years at this point. Can You Ever Forgive Me did receive some Oscar nominations last year, so it's likely that this movie does at least get one nomination. Maybe it's going to be Tom Hanks. We're not so sure yet, but the guy is always great on the screen. I think, if anything, that'll be what this movie gets nominated for, Tom Hanks and his performance. Ford vs. Ferrari, directed by James Mangold, who did Logan, already has a trailer. It stars Christian Bale and Matt Damon. It follows the story of Ford trying to compete with Ferrari at 1966 Le Mans. Matt Damon and Christian Bale with James Mangold directing already has me so excited. If this movie does not get nominated for Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars, I will be shocked. But hey, crazier things have happened. The Report stars Adam Driver and John Hamm. It focuses on the CIA doing very intensive interrogations with people who they think might have been responsible for 9/11. The director of this is known for being a writer, so I don't know how he'll do being a director for a film of this magnitude. However, I think it's pretty hard to screw up a movie with a premise as intriguing as this. As of right now, the report is looking like a clear-cut favorite to be nominated for Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars as well. Little Woman is the next Greta Gerwig movie. She did Lady Bird. It stars way too many actresses to name, but Meryl Streep is one of the most famous out of all of them. It's about 4 women who have a coming-of-age story in America after the Civil War. This movie will probably get nominated because it's a period piece and it has Meryl Streep. That's about it, but just with the cast alone, I see this film getting nominated for several Oscars in 2020. The Laundromat is a Netflix movie also starring Meryl Streep with Gary Oldman, and it's a movie about political figures, journalists, and taxes. Not really my thing, but the Academy loves those movies. It's a Netflix movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, who I've never been the biggest fan of. And Netflix is starting to get a lot of recognition at the Academy Awards. Last year, Roma was huge for the Academy. That was a Netflix movie. This year, we could see 2 or 3 Netflix films get nominated for Best Picture. Clemency could turn out to be one of the deepest movies for many people in 2019. It's about a prison warden who can no longer deal with what comes from death row, and when they are about to execute another person on death row, the warden and the prisoner start growing a friendship with each other that will most likely be at the center of this whole film. One that could be super hard to watch, very emotional, but also end up as a great film and an Academy favorite this year. I never heard of the director or most of the cast for Clemency, but hey, a lot of the times, those movies end up being the best. And of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, is set for July 26th. I am super pumped for that movie. Do I even have to explain what it is about? I don't think so, but it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie. It's going to be great, I think. And there you have it, guys. Those are the films that I feel like have the best shot at potentially getting nominated for Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars. If there's any other movies that you guys think will get nominated at the 2020 Oscars for Best Picture, be sure to let me know down below in the comments section. A few other movies that I have on my mind that I could see end up being on the same level as the other ones I named for the 2020 Oscars. A movie called The Pope, it's a Netflix movie, as well as the next Todd Haynes movie. He did Carol, and it has Mark Ruffalo in it, so that's pretty cool. I'm just praying that the best movies in 2019 get nominated for Best Picture in 2020. But that never happened, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. My next video will be my review for Spider-Man Far From Home. Cannot wait. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.